Investors, welcome back to Green Money Momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and we are here today for the Q4 earnings with BigBearAI. They are about to release their earnings here shortly in the after hours, just 5 minutes after we close here in the markets. And so we are doing a live today reporting on what we see with the earnings that come out for today for Q4, and then also we are going to attend the live earnings call after that, and that is scheduled just about 30 minutes after we get the earnings that is coming out here in just a couple minutes with the Big Bear. But overall, a pretty decent day in the markets. We did have more in the gaining category. We had 54% in the gaining category today, with technology being pretty green, as well as the defense stocks, especially because of the news that we got this weekend with Iran. And so it looks like we have 13 here in the live chat, some Big Bear fans. If you are here, drop a comment in the live chat. Let me know where you are watching from today. We have George here. He says, hello, everyone. George, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Great to see you once again. We just saw you in yesterday's live stream. And if you are here for the first time, or if you just don't know, every single Sunday we are going live on this channel. We are doing our weekly preparation videos now as live streams every single Sunday. David, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Great to see you here as well. Coming from the United Kingdom, myself, I am out here in Tempe, Arizona, and things are heating up out here. It is 88 degrees outside, and we have had some 90-degree days most recently this week. So things are heating up, but we are here to talk about the Big Bear. Oh, we got some more here. We got from New Zealand. So we have quite the diverse crowd today. We have from the United Kingdom. We have from New Zealand. I know, George, that you are out in Texas. We have another one. Hello, everyone from the United Kingdom. Hi, bro, what's good? How's it going, my man? What is up? So today with the Big Bear, we have had some decent price action right here. You got these two big bubbles here. These are just spots that I have bought. You can see this if you zoom out and look at the 1-year chart. So I just bought some options contracts on the Big Bear the other day, and then today. The contracts that I bought for today go all the way out into January of 2028. So some leaps on the Big Bear, and that is because I have a ton of faith in the Big Bear for the long term. I do believe sometime this year we will start to see some momentum, and if we don't, and we start to see that momentum in 2027, we'll all be positioned in the Big Bear as of today with some options contracts going out to 2028. So the break-even price will be a lot lower than in the future if we do start to see some momentum with the Big Bear. Where we are currently sitting at in terms of technical analysis is very interesting, because for quite some time we were in a consolidation trend. We have now broken underneath that trend. We are now under the 200-day MA and the 50-day MA, and unfortunately we actually saw what could be considered the death cross most recently. So we have been beat down on the technicals. We are low on the relative strength index, and then we did just see a bullish cross on the MACD. So let's see today if Big Bear could come out with some positive earnings and we could see some more momentum, see even more of a surge on the MACD, all the technicals, and return back to this consolidation trend right here. That is the goal for us who are bullish on the Big Bear, to see Big Bear return back to these levels in the $5 range. Now, if we do look at the options market with Big Bear and we just look at the gamma exposure, some massive gamma walls right near where we are at. With gamma, if you don't quite understand this is just the options market, and you can see where a lot of dealers are placed. Remember, if we are buying options contracts, we are on the side of the buyer, but of course someone has to make these contracts. There has to be a dealer, and so a lot of these dealers have the cluster right around this level, right around $4.50, and then a little bit here at $3.50. So with Big Bear's earnings today, I am not really expecting too much. I do believe believe that Big Bear will come in right at expectations. I'm not expecting anything crazy. So if Big Bear does just meet these expectations, I could see us continuing to trade right around the range where we are at right now, possibly reaching up to $4.50 if we do get a positive earnings call. If we do get a negative earnings call, I could see us dropping a bit below that $4 range and possibly eventually return back to $3.50. But overall, I am bullish. And what I like about the Big Bear, remember, I am going long on the Big Bear, is with their earnings reports through 2025. They were pretty disappointing overall. They did have some decelerating earnings. So we saw the revenue drop in the Big Bear. We also saw them make a big acquisition with Ask Sage most recently, which did cost a lot of capital. And unfortunately, we did see some dilution from that event. But what's great about all of this is Big Bear has been really has not really had the best earnings reports up to this point, at least in the last year. So the bar is set so low. If Big Bear does come out with a great earnings and beats these expectations, we could see a bit of a surge in the price. Right now it is 2 o'clock, so we should see the earnings here pretty soon. It is showing at 2:15. So I thought it was at 2:05, but 2:15 we should get the official earnings report for Q4. And then shortly after that, we are going to do the live call. We got another day, another trade here. He says, let's go. They need to announce a government contract so it could start ripping. With that being said, it feels like it has been quite some time since we have seen any contracts with Big Bear, but also there have been a lot of issues with the government to finish 2025. We had that massive government shutdown, which did last a long time. We have another government shutdown that just recently happened in just a sector of the government. But with that, Big Bear hasn't really been announcing a lot of contracts. But what's also very interesting with this earnings report is Big Bear did say in some of their earnings calls in 2025 that some of the government contracts that they had received have yet to show up in the earnings reports just yet. So some delayed revenue from some of their contracts. Going to be interesting to see if we see some of that in this quarterly. And that's also what makes Big Bear so interesting, is at any point we could start to see these quarterlies get a lot better from the government contract backlog that they do have. So we are having a push up here to finish the here in the afternoon session. We had a pretty decent day overall, up 4% for the Big Bear. And also today, if Big Bear does come out with a great earnings, it would be a perfect day because, again, we have everything happening in the Middle East right now. And so that is a positive for the defense stocks. They are having a bit of a run today just from that news. We did see Ondas have another big day today. We have Ollie here. Hi, Trevor. Hi, Ollie. Welcome to the stream. Great to see you here. Let's go BigBearAI. Give us a flyer to the moon. I sure hope we do reach up there today. That would be nice to see. San Jose, California in the house. Well, hey, that is great to see it here again. Another day, another trade. Great that you were out in beautiful California. Right now, Tempe, Arizona is quite beautiful. A little bit hot, but not too hot just yet. I'm sure the summer months are going to be pretty intense coming up. Let's see, go back to the live chat. Oh, Kid Wit, hey, welcome to the chat. Great to see you here. I remember you a long time ago when you were in my first ever live stream. That was when we did DJT stock all the way back when we were in Washington, D.C. So great to see you here for the live stream. Great to see that you are still invested into the markets and still invested into BigBearAI. The earnings call the earnings report we should get here in about 12 minutes. And then shortly after that, we will do the earnings call. And for everybody in here, by the way, if you are a longtime subscriber or if you were just here for the Big Bear earnings call today, if you've just found me through the YouTube algorithm, we are now going live every single Sunday. So every single Sunday, we are doing a weekly preparation live stream. That's where we talk about everything to expect for this week in the markets. Yesterday, we had a great time and we talked all about defense cents, and also Big Bear AI, which is surging here now at $4.20 here in the after hours, up by about 5%. Some beautiful candlesticks that we are seeing. Let's hope that Big Bear does come out with a great earnings report and we could continue to see that bump. Again, when we do look at the gamma exposure, a major strike price here where, you know, if Big Bear doesn't reach to this point, we could see a lot of max pain with some of the buyers of the contracts, is right at $4.50. So I do believe if we get to $4.50, we could see even more price momentum at that point if the dealers start to buy that Big Bear. But we are seeing some momentum here again at $4.20. A beautiful surge here in the Big Bear, but they have yet to release the earnings. That is going to be coming out in 10 minutes unless we have seen something early here. Let's refresh the page, see if we have officially got their quarterly here. Still has yet to come out, still coming out in 10 minutes, but some exciting price action that we are seeing with the Big Bear. He's sitting back there looking go parabolic, possibly. Let's see. This green, by the way, if you just joined me, this is where I recently purchased an options contract going out into 2028 with the Big Bear. Mango, hopefully deliver. We love you, Trevor. We love you, W. Reed, and we love that corgi that you have there on screen. Corgis and Australian Shepherds are great dogs. They are the herding dogs, and so they have some great personalities. I am a fan of corgis. W. Reed, great to see you here in the stream. I am so optimistic. Well, so am I. You know, the beginning of this year for the bulls has been pretty rough. To finish off 2025, it was some rough momentum basically since October until most recently in many different individual stocks, including the Big Bear. But Big Bear was sitting pretty strong for some time in some consolidation trends. But most recently, we have seen a breakdown, but we are right at a spot where we may be seeing a massive reversal and oversold reversal potentially in the Big Bear here, especially if they do report some great earnings. And again, I feel that today is a great day for them to report earnings, with the defense stocks running a bit hot right now, and with how the defense stocks may continue to run a bit hot with everything that is happening with the United States and out in Iran. Eric Poley, great to see you here, brother. You were at the last Big Bear AI live earnings. That was a lot of fun, a lot of engagement from you at the last earnings. So great to see you here once again, and still with you, bro. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Kid Wit. It has been quite the journey. I know you've been one of my first followers on this channel all the way back in 2024. And to everybody watching, this is truly a dream come true. I love to do these daily talk of stock videos and these live streams. And so right now I am living the dream by doing this. I can't believe that we have 70 now in the live stream. So if you just joined us, hit the like button. Let's pump those likes, because the more likes that we get, the more we'll reach this stream organically. Let's go Big Bear AI. Let's go Big Bear at $4.21. We're going to have the Big Bear official earnings come out here in 8 minutes. It is projected to be at 2:15. We'll refresh the page once again, make sure they have yet to come out, and they have yet to come out. The earnings expectations are at 32 million. So let's see if Big Bear could meet those expectations or beat those expectations. A very realistic expectation by Wall Street. I love to see this, because I remember going through the earnings reports back in the early part of 2025, and Wall Street had some big expectations. And despite the bigger quarterlies that we had at that point with Big Bear AI, they didn't quite meet those expectations. And so we do have a great chance to beat the expectations today, with Wall Street not expecting too much. With Big Bear AI, a lot of their focus has been building the company. This last year, they did pay off a lot of debt, and they focused a lot on customer acquisition, of course, picking up Ask Sage in the last quarter. So a massive acquisition with Big Bear AI. Let's just take a look at that really quick. at that big news. If you didn't see when they did acquire Ask Sage, I want to go actually to their website. Here we go. The $250 million acquisition of Ask Sage. This was reported on December 31st of 2025. So this acquisition follows BigBearAI's disclosed. I'm just going to read through this really quick. See if there's any important information. Exactly. Well, you can always go check this article, but we all know about what has happened if you are a fan of the Big Bear and if you have been with us for quite some time. Qubit earnings right now as well. Hey, let's go take a look at QUBT and see how they are performing. Recently, we have seen a lot of hard retractions in the quantum sector, but I am still very bullish on quantum. And there we go. We are having a surge in QUBT. So after this live stream, I'm going to have to go take a look and see what is happening with QUBT. Let's see if we could see their earnings here. Let's see if they reported. Where is Qubit here? So Qubit's Q1 2026, did they just report? Okay, so they came in lower than expected on revenue, but they did beat on earnings per share. So it does look like they missed here at this quarterly, but we are seeing some price action with Qubit. If you've been following me for quite some time, you know that the quantum sector is one of my favorite sectors. And with Qubit, they have a quantum photonic chip foundry out here in Tempe, Arizona. So thank you for letting us know that. Another day, another trade. Again, I am very bullish on the quantum sector. The entire quantum sector runs with some pretty decent correlation with QBTS, QUBT, and then also Rigetti. And again, with all these quantum plays, we have seen some hard retractions in the short term, more than 50% down from the highs. With all of the quantum plays, we are pretty beat down and looking a bit oversold when it comes to technical analysis. And so again, if you're not subscribed to me, I don't just cover BigBearAI. I cover quantum and a ton of other stocks. Martin, great to see you here, my friend. Martin says BigBearAI to the moon in September 2030. BigBearAI will be $50 plus. Well, you know, some like to compare BigBearAI to Palantir. Now, I'm not saying they're a exact one for one. Of course, Palantir makes a ton more of revenue than the Big Bear. Of course, they have many more contracts. They are even more in bed with the government than Big Bear to say. But with Palantir, it's interesting because some like to make the comparison between Big Bear and Palantir because they are both around the AI technology and kind of defense side of the markets. And what's very interesting when you do look at Palantir, you know, for a long time, Palantir traded sideways in between a very frustrating zone. Ignore that call here. Spam call in between a very frustrating zone back in these days. It's crazy to look at the price action now with Palantir, but for quite some time it had a struggle to break even into the $10 range. I remember Palantir at $7, and then we got the surge up to 20, 30, and so on and so on. The price action has been absolutely euphoric with Palantir, and Palantir having a pretty decent day today at a critical spot for Palantir because we are at a spot where the 50-day looks like it's about to cross under the 200-day MA, which would be a death cross, but also we are low on the relative strength index and seeing a bullish cross on the MACD. And again, the geopolitical news right now is very positive for these defense stocks, including Palantir. And then also Big Bear, again, releasing their earnings today, a positive day for defense. Let's see if Big Bear could come in here and beat on the earnings and we could see the surge continue. We're going to get the news with Big Bear's earnings here in about 2 minutes. Everybody in the chat, let me know. Drop a comment, whether it's on the side or down below, depending on if you're watching on desktop or mobile. Just say either bull or bear. Do you think the earnings are going to come in bullish? Do you think they're going to come in better than expected? Or are you bearish on these earnings, thinking that we are going to see some bad numbers with the Big Bear? Again, the Big Bear did disappoint a lot in 2025 when it came to their quarterlies, but a lot of backlog, and Big Bear has been greatly improving the company. Somebody knows something. I guess you missed the Charlie Sheen meltdown in 2011. Let's squeeze the chumps. BigBearAI, this could be a huge setup for an epic squeeze play, I hope. Yep, I just joined. You're welcome, and let's get these beats. Hey, great to see you here, FJ. And keep up the good work, Trev. Much appreciate your effort. Well, I much appreciate you being here in the live stream. Again, to everybody who is here, if you are not subscribed to the channel, or if you are subscribed to the channel and unaware, I am now going live every single Sunday. We are always talking about what we can expect for this upcoming week in the stock market. We go over who's on the earnings calendar, and we also look at the economic calendar, what we could expect in terms of inflation, the Federal Reserve, and so on and so on. Can you do Archer as well, please? And what is your take on the war and its effect on the markets? We will cover Archer maybe here in this live stream, but Big Bear is about to report here in just a minute. When it does come to the effects on the market, yesterday I just did a live stream. It's packed with a ton of different data. We talk about a ton of different defense stocks, and then also the hard metals sector, which silver having a rough time today. The COMEX did raise the requirements for margin. So if you want to get more of my opinion on that, check yesterday's live stream. I'm going fast here because we got 1 minute apparently until Big Bear does release their earnings. It's an exciting time in the markets. Oh boy, no, we got that red candle. No, what did Big Bear just release? Oh my goodness, back down to $3.80. Quite the bleed that we are seeing here. Oh my goodness. Remember what we talked about when it comes to the gamma exposure. We could be riding between this range of 354, 450. With Big Bear, they just released their earnings. I'm going to have to take a look at what it is here in just a second, but we are seeing an immediate drop. But remember, with every single earnings report, you do have the earnings released for the last quarter, and then you also get the guidance. And so it looks like they may have missed on earnings here, but remember, we do have that guidance call coming here shortly. So stay tuned because they may say some stuff that is positive, and we could see a reversal here on this earnings. But let's go take a look over at Earnings Hub and let's see what the Big Bear just released, which was so negative for the markets. And so let's see, it's not refreshed here just yet on Earnings Hub. Let's see. Okay, so on my end, I am still not seeing, doesn't look like it has came through yet, but it looks like somebody knows something here that the Big Bear did not release the best earnings, having a drop here down to $3.80. Again, the options contract that I bought here in the green, now it's a bit high, but I purchased this as a leap going all the way out to 2028, so I am not concerned myself. Yes, they got that. Bull. Well, let's see. Right now we are seeing some bearish momentum, unfortunately. Bear. Well, looks like you're probably happy right now being a bear on the Big Bear, as we just had a drop here on the earnings call going all the way from around 420 to 375. Plummet. There, the cold plunge. Bull from Michigan. Great to have you here. Bullish. Well, it looks like a lot of you in the short term have been wrong, but myself, I am a long-term bull on the Big Bear. So I am not concerned here about the, I'm getting a call. I'm not concerned here about the short-term movements. Again, the leap that I purchased is going out to 2028. Give me just a second here. But quite the bleed that we have had here in the Big Bear. Looks like it's starting to stabilize right around 380. Again, when we look at the gamma exposure, where a major level of breakdown would be right around 350, in between 354 and $4.50, exactly where I am expecting for the range to remain here in the Big Bear today. Again, we got their earnings call coming up here shortly, and we'll have to see what Kevin and others have to say at this earnings call. If we could get some positive guidance, something said in this earnings call that could influence the bears to push the momentum the other way. And Martin, my friend, yes, I look forward to seeing you in August. I'm going to meet my great friend Martin from the United Kingdom. He is coming out to Las Vegas, and so I'm going out to Las Vegas in August. We're going to meet, and what's really going to be cool is we're going to see Rich Tech Robotics out there. We're going to see all their robotics. I'm going to do a vlog when I do go out there in Vegas, so I look forward to seeing you there, Martin. Bull, we have $325 million worth of backlog. That is a a good point with the Big Bear. They do have a big backlog. They also have a pretty decent cash position. And again, this company is focused on growth. What they have said with a lot of their other earnings calls this last year is in the short term, there has been some hard moments when it comes to having cash or how their balance sheet looks exactly in terms of revenue. But this company is greatly focused on growth, customer acquisition, and building for the long term with the Big Bear. Heartbroken. I feel you there, Eric. But this is just in the short term. I know not as fun as the last earnings call that we had last time, right? Last time we did see a big surge up in the price, and that was really exciting to see. But here we've had a drop again. I am not concerned. Looks like some short-term movements. Let's now see if my earnings hub has refreshed here. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'll just type in Big Bear earnings elsewhere. That site is being a bit delayed here. Let's see if we can see anything else on Big Bear's earnings. -1 cent per share. Let's see if the EPS has updated here. So it doesn't look like it's still updated for me, unfortunately. I'd be curious to hear what site you guys use. Let me take a look here at my Robinhood and just see if it's updated on there for me. I don't know why it's not updating. This is one of my favorite sites for the earnings, but it's just being a bit delayed here. Usually it's a lot faster. That is awesome. It's back to $4. Oh, is it now? Let's see. $3.86. Could get back there. That's awesome, man. $462 million worth of cash and investment. TradingView has it. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. I'm trying to give you guys some up-to-date information here, but it's like, gosh, Earnings Hub is being a downer on me right now. It is not performing well with the live stream. We're having some technical issues to say when it comes to the live data. Let's see. Gosh, still there. Let's go to TradingView. I've used TradingView before, but it has been a while since I've used TradingView. Let's see. I don't even know how to get out of this right here. Hey, guys, I'm still a new YouTuber. This is only, I think, like my 5th live stream ever, so I'm still learning and improving. I appreciate everyone who is here. We have 129 in the live. Let's get off of TradingView. I got to learn how to use TradingView a little bit on my own there, a little bit more, but there we go. The bulls trying to take control once again after we had this hard drop with the initial earnings report. Last quarter, BBAI were late with the earnings as well. Reduced debt by 90%. That's a great point, Eric. In 2025, they did reduce a ton of their debt. That was a big focus with the Big Bear. Email on the way, Trevor. Hey, I appreciate that. I'm going to check my email here, see what I got here from you, Eric. You were great last time we did the earnings call as well. You were very interactive, and you had sent me an email last time, saving the stream last time. So let's see what you've sent me here, if it's on the earnings report or what it is right here. Okay, so it does look like you sent that. Give me just a second here, everybody. I hope everybody is having a good time today. We're going to get an important article here. This was sent by Mr. Eric Poley. Again, I appreciate your engagement here in the stream and helping by saving me with this article right here. So let's take a look at the article that Eric just sent me. This is the press release. They just announced their 4th quarter 2025 results, releases the 2026 financial outlook. So closed 2025 with strongest financial position in company history. Total cash and investments of $462 million, settled the remaining $125 million of 2029 convertible notes primarily through the company's exercise of debt to equity conversion features in January 2026. That is a huge positive there, taking down a lot of their long-term debt. The remaining remaining 125 million of 2029 convertible notes. So doing some dilution there, but now that is a positive because we have got through that. Now that is something that could cause a lot of fear initially going into 2029, what could be a big talking point. Well, now we have seen that they have officially diluted that and they have settled that remaining 125 million. We were talking about this earlier. They closed their acquisitions of Ask Sage and Cargo Seer and expanded into the Middle East. Oh man, we're talking a lot about the Middle East nowadays. So Big Bear, again, one of these defense companies, very interesting. They're talking about expanding into the Middle East. Let's see if we get more talk of this in the earnings call, which we should have here in about 7 to 8 minutes. The company projects full year 2026 revenue between 135 million and 165 million, representing approximately 17% growth at the midpoint compared to full year 2025 revenue of 128 million. So a positive to see there. Big Bear is improving in terms of revenue and a lot here just in the bullet points. Again, expanding out into the Middle East, talking about this acquisition with Ask Sage and Cargo Seer, settling those convertible notes. And so to me, everything here does look bullish, which was announced with what just came out in their earnings report. Let's see if the actual bar charts have updated here. By the way, we got 150 in the live stream. So great to see everybody here in the live stream. We have quite the audience. If you just joined us, I would love to know where you are coming from. Where are you in the United States? Are you out of country? What state are you in? Let me know. Gotta love water, right? Sorry, I gotta go. Hearing the mobile phone ring in my ears is a no-go. Good luck all right, well, looks like Gregory, doesn't like when other people contact me. Unfortunately, we had the call earlier, the spam call. He doesn't want spam calls to reach me. So Gregory, we have now lost him in the live stream, buddy. Well, good luck with you. Sad to see you go. It means nothing. The earnings, knee-jerk manipulation as well. I agree with you, Martin. Earnings are such a small part. Really, when stocks really start to move the most, it is usually off of the macros, and when everything with the macros looks positive, when we are seeing a ton of positive news when it comes to the whole world, right? Don't worry, we love your energy. Check your email, Trevor. Still have the stock dilution ahead. Patience is key, folk. Long-term BBAI will pay handsomely. I agree with you, Martin. Oh, just deleted that comment on accident. Eric, what happened to the TSA contract? Thinking there is a glass of bourbon in my near future. I like that. Dallas, Texas, coming from your favorite state of Florida. Let's go, my friend. All about food official. Great to see you out here. All about your food out in the beautiful state of Florida. I am from Denmark. Go Greenland. Awesome. Well, great to have you here. Sul Monamed. Hit that like button as well. Yes, please encourage everybody to hit the like button. I'm going to go take a look here at the live stream, see how we are performing. We have a great audience here, over 150. Let's see how many like button. 27 likes. All right, everybody, we could bump that up. Let's get this number to at least 35 likes. If we truly have 156 in this live stream, we could bump those earnings right there. BBAI can hit $20. It is possible sometime in the future. In the short term, there has been a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt with the Big Bear. We have had some dilution. They just talked about this with the report that just came out. And also Big Bear has had some pretty low quarters when it comes to revenue. And so in the short term, I'm not seeing Big Bear get to $20 today, but this company is focused on a lot of growth for the future. So really only time will tell. Just bought 710 shares of BigBearAI at 380, been swing trading it and have a combined total of 1,000 shares. Well, hey, that is very exciting. Myself, funny enough, I actually don't have any shares in the Big Bear in terms of just holding the common stock, but I do have a ton of different options contracts. I have leaps going out into January 2027 and January 2028. So in a way, I hold the shares, but through the options contracts, and that is just because they provide a great amount of leverage. And for each contract, I am able to hold 100 shares without actually having to pay the price for 100 shares to say. But of course, there is an expiration date with that. But I would encourage looking at some of those options contracts. Brother, they are projecting low annual revenue. They have been doing 155 million per annum. Their guidance isn't necessarily bullish, still flat. Well, the stock price is pretty flat. I still think it's bullish. I still think that they are growing the company. Great, again, to see that they have had some acquisition this last year with Ask Sage, to see they have paid down their debt tremendously, to see they have a lot of cash on their balance sheet. So I do believe that things are positive and bullish with the Big Bear, but we're just going to have to continue to be patient here in the short term. And I'm really not at all surprised with the earnings that we have seen thus far with the Big Bear. You know, the quarterlies in 2025 were pretty disappointing for the most part. And so they have been either just missing on a lot of quarterlies or coming in right at expectation with some low revenue and still a negative earnings per share. So this company still technically not always coming in at a net positive right now at $3.91. So we may see a recovery back to $4 in the Big Bear. Again, we do have their earnings call coming up here shortly, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 in my time. So it looks like just a minute here. We are going to have that live call with the Big Bear. Oh, is it starting now? Let's take a look. See. All right. Got the live here. I'm going to switch my presentation here so you guys can hear the audio on that, because if it's just sharing the screen, you won't get the audio. So give me just a second as I share the actual tab here, and then we'll have the audio. So give me 1 moment. All right, so we are going to be here in the earnings call in just a minute. We're going to have to see what they say with guidance, what they have to say around their balance sheet. When will they get a contract? Well, only the insiders and the government know that. I wish I could answer that. And if I could, I would tell everyone to get in right before they announce that big contract. Adjusted EPS beat expectations despite the large revenue miss. That is awesome to see. From Belgium, welcome from Belgium. Gulf Shores, welcome. God, I'm all tongue twisted after talking for 30 minutes. England with my beautiful wife, Mandy. Again, great to see you here, Martin. Look forward to meeting you later in the year. Yes, I agree. Long term, it will run, but short term, it will continue to chop. I'm bearish on them, but we'll continue to add at low 3. If we see 2 again, it will time to go back up in the truck.
Historical fact are considered forward-looking statements that are made pursuant to the safe harbor provisions of the federal securities laws. Actual results may differ materially from those projected in the forward-looking statements. Please see today's press release and our SEC filings for a description of some of the factors that may cause actual results to differ materially from those in the forward-looking statements. We have posted charts on our website today that we plan to address during the call to supplement our comments. These charts also include information regarding non-GAAP measures that may be used in today's call. Please access our website at www.BigBear.ai and click on the Investor Relations link to view and follow the charts. With that, I'd like to turn the call over to Kevin.
Good afternoon. Before we begin, I would like to express our appreciation and gratitude to all our servicemen and women and their leaders who are currently engaged here and overseas in the conflict with Iran. You will continue to have BigBearAI's full support as you carry out your challenging missions. We also want to send well wishes to our allies and partners in the region who are in harm's way and our BigBearAI employees. January 15th, 2026 marked 1 year since I stepped into the CEO role. It was a dynamic year on all fronts for BigBearAI, and I would like to thank our shareholders for their trust and support, our customers for their partnership, and the outstanding BigBearAI team for their hard work. Our first objective for 2025 was to strengthen the foundations and fundamentals of the business, starting with rebuilding our financial position. To address the growing and rapidly evolving needs of our government and commercial customers, We needed to strengthen our balance sheet and establish financial flexibility that would allow us to invest in technology, retain and attract top talent, and take advantage of emerging opportunities in a dynamic marketplace. We knew we needed to do this to enable BigBearAI to move quickly and decisively, and we made remarkable progress. As of year-end 2025, BigBearAI is in the strongest financial position in the company's history. As Sean will speak to in more detail, we have significantly reduced our debt and we have record liquidity. This is a big achievement by the team, and it's a clear signal to our shareholders that BigBearAI is building momentum, positioned to move fast, and laying the tracks for lasting returns. I would also like to highlight here that despite the longest government shutdown in history, we closed 2025 within our revenue forecast and within single digits of analyst consensus estimates. My thanks to Sean and our growth team for improving the rigor of our forecasting, which will continue to enhance in the quarters ahead. In addition to strengthening our financial foundation, we also set out to achieve two other objectives, given the dynamics of the geopolitical and technology landscape. Our second objective was to expand our international footprint. At the beginning of last year, relationships between the U.S. and its allies and partners globally were evolving. In January 2025, we were already in the process of establishing a lasting presence in the United Arab Emirates and the wider region, which I know well from my time at the Department of Homeland Security, where I collaborated on security initiatives and travel and trade partnerships like pre-clearance. In March, during a diplomatic visit to Washington, the UAE's National Security Advisor pledged a landmark $1.4 trillion investment framework over 10 years. AI infrastructure is one of its three pillars. And in June, BigBearAI announced a strategic partnership with two UAE companies, Vigilix and EasyLease, a subsidiary of the International Holding Company. We are now working together to deliver mission-critical capabilities that enhance safety, mobility, and operational effectiveness across the region, including a partnership with Abu Dhabi Ports to collaborate on advanced AI-enabled capabilities for government and critical infrastructure customers. By December, we had announced the formation of a new wholly owned subsidiary in our first office in the World Trade Center in Abu Dhabi, and committed to not only pursue business in the region, but also to hire and develop local talent. We are now established in the UAE, and our relationships will only get stronger. Our third objective was to make a catalytic strategic acquisition. We executed on this and completed the acquisition of Ask Sage on December 31st. Ask Sage is a model-agnostic platform for secure distribution of generative AI models and agentic capabilities tailored for defense and security agencies and other highly regulated sectors. The changing needs of the intelligence and defense community make Ask Sage a critical platform-level AI technology. It is proven in the most secure and demanding environments, and is an important signal of BigBearAI's focus on delivering mission impact with maximum flexibility. Most importantly, Ask Sage doesn't lock customers into any particular frontier model. It is highly flexible, allows customers to integrate their data once, and Ask Sage can optimize models and agents across the platform for their use cases. We are well on our way to integrating Ask Sage fully into BigBearAI since closing just 9 weeks ago, and we will now accelerate that work to deliver the highest levels of customer impact in the coming months. As you will have seen, we recently shared that Nicolas Chalon has transitioned from his role as CTO for personal reasons. The outstanding Ask Sage team and the Ask Sage platform continue to be an essential part of the BigBearAI serving our mission customers, warfighters, and national security interests. Nick will provide technical advice to ensure continuity for our customers using the platform, and we wish him all the best in his future endeavors. Shortly after completing the Ask Sage acquisition, we announced that we had acquired the technology platform CargoSeer. Globally, customs administrations, aviation security agencies, port operators, and security teams are all seeking better ways to rapidly identify mission risk in the global movement of cargo and goods. Governments have invested billions in deploying scanning equipment. Trade risks, contraband, dangerous and potent narcotics are all moving through high-volume supply chains. CargoSeer's AI shipment inspection platform is designed to address exactly those mission needs, reducing costs and increasing speed and accuracy. The core technology supports non-intrusive inspection for cargo by combining automated image analysis, computer vision, and machine learning, coupled with trade and cargo data. This helps customs operators and security professionals rapidly identify high-risk shipments, detect threats, and improve inspection efficiency across ports of entry. The benefits of this technology are manifold. Governments are losing billions to fraud, undervaluation, and other customs and tax violations. This lost revenue affects the services governments can provide their citizens and allows companies that are willing to break the rules to benefit. More broadly, the global supply chain is used by bad actors to smuggle all manner of contraband, narcotics and precursors, counterfeit products, and agricultural pests and diseases. It also provides avenues for human trafficking. CargoSeer makes it easier and more efficient for border officials to fight smuggling by giving them tools to properly identify illicit cargo and quickly intercept it, allowing them to focus on high-impact operational activities with immediate revenue and security benefits. Another positive result of combining these capabilities is the facilitation of trades and borders. These two acquisitions are clear indicators of where BigBearAI is heading. Ask Sage is squarely aligned with our national security core market and has momentum and significant potential with commercial customers. And CargoSeer is centered on our trade and travel market, with applications for both government and commercial customers all over the world. They also reinforce our strong mission-first culture, centered on delivering enduring strategic advantage for the U.S., our allies and partners, and critical commercial sectors. I'd like to turn now to how our operating context has changed since our Q3 earnings call. 3 significant developments play to our market positioning and strengths. First, in December, the U.S. government published its national security strategy, calling for closer collaboration between the U.S. government and the American private sector. The strategy also called out clearly the need to protect the U.S. from cross-border threats such as terrorism, drugs, espionage, and human trafficking. BigBearAI is built to meet these mission needs. Our longstanding trust with the Department of Homeland Security and the defense intelligence communities, combined with the new solutions we are acquiring and building, and our ability to move fast, make us an ideal partner. The administration recently indicated they intend to increase their requested defense budget dramatically, potentially to $1.5 trillion. If this request is supported by Congress, it will represent an increase for the Pentagon of $500 billion from this year's budget, on top of the generational increase in funding at DHS from the One Big Beautiful Bill. Even if funding remains closer to current levels, we believe that these critical resources will be substantially directed to cutting-edge technologies like ours. The second major development was the acceleration of frontier AI capabilities.
Short term,
In late
long
Q4,
term, this is
we saw a generational leap in chain of thought reasoning, model distillation, and agentic autonomy that outpaced the prior 18 months of progress combined. These advances further underscore the differentiated value of BigBearAI's capabilities. Every new model release, every improvement in small model performance, and every advance in agentic orchestration makes our rapid and secure deployment infrastructure more essential. Our platforms are deliberately model agnostic, giving operators maximum flexibility to adopt the best available capabilities without vendor lock-in. And because our teams understand the realities of operators, we are able to translate these new technologies into real mission solutions that fit the nuanced workflows, constraints, and unique challenges of our customers. Third development followed rapidly in January, the publication of the U.S. Department of War's AI acceleration strategy. 7 pace-setting plans organized under warfighting, intelligence, and enterprise align with where BigBearAI is the strongest. The overarching goal of the strategy is to match the commercial clock speed of AI development, shifting from multi-year acquisition cycles to far shorter timelines.
Hey, great to see you.
The strategy places significant focus on agentic network architectures and a shift to the tactical edge, all centered on speed of adoption and mission integration. This is not only a huge gear shift for the Department of War to increasing investment in the cognitive layer of warfighting capabilities, the pace is also likely to shorten the procurement cycle, and that helps us because of our size and speed. As one example, the AI acceleration strategy directs that the latest commercial models be deployable to U.S. government partners within 30 days of public release. That is now the standard, and we are well prepared to support it. Ask Sage is architected to seamlessly and rapidly integrate new frontier model releases into secure enclaves without customers needing to re-architect or re-accredit their environments. That speed to deployment advantage becomes more valuable with every new model release, and the pace of releases is accelerating. I will close this section on our operating context with one note regarding the recent focus on SaaS businesses. Our work is built around mission-critical workflows for specialized operators. That requires deep domain integration, not generic horizontal software. Our value scales with mission impact. Agentic AI and autonomous workflows support our growth thesis and investments, and we are already delivering these agentic AI capabilities today into the most highly regulated environments in the world. And our development teams are leveraging these capabilities to build and ship tailored mission-critical solutions at increasing pace. Looking forward, BigBearAI is stepping into our strengths as a specialized defense technology company and developing and delivering mission-ready AI. In our third quarter earnings call, I stated that we are focused on two core markets, national security and travel and trade. Each area is highly specialized and requires deep domain expertise. They're also interdependent. Strengthening national security enables commerce and provides the baseline of trust necessary for nations to build prosperity. In turn, enhanced national security depends on the ability to move people and goods through the global economy and across borders with speed and efficiency, which facilitates tens of trillions of dollars of annual trade. BigBearAI operates where these vectors converge. Our thesis is clear. Build on our strength in defense and apply it with a discipline to highly specialized use cases for advanced technologies. To execute on that thesis, we are prioritizing the following four things. First, deliver top-line growth. With strong financial foundations, we will enhance our go-to-market rhythm and drive rapid customer adoption of BigBearAI solutions. The funding environment is strong, the demand signal is clear, and the window for us to capture share is now. We see significant near-term revenue opportunities. In national security, we are aggressively pursuing significant government competitions in a robust funding environment, largely driven by One Big Beautiful Bill funding and running disciplined, high-touch capture campaigns to win programs that map directly to our core strengths. In travel and trade, we're leveraging our established foothold in the UAE to expand our international business, particularly around our ports and borders offerings. Additionally, we also see our partnership with the UAE having the potential to address the needs of customers in Africa and Southeast Asia. Coming across both markets, our AI platform capabilities, accelerated by the Ask Sage acquisition, are proving to be a powerful differentiator. And we are focused on accelerating the delivery of frontier AI capabilities into highly secure environments, both by optimizing the best commercial products for secure use and tailoring solutions to mission-specific needs, leveraging that deep operational expertise of forward-deployed engineers. Over the midterm, we see a clear path to extend this platform beyond its Department of War roots. Second, focus on the operator. We will keep the needs of our customers, the operators who need the best technology now, front and center. The weekend's events put this into stark relief. Initiatives across the business will put intense focus on their shifting needs to ensure we operate with precision, speed, and the mission front of mind. Third, operate with execution rigor. This is critical, and it means allocating resources dynamically and capital surgically. The world is moving quickly, and our operating model has to keep up. We believe the future belongs to companies that get the intersection of technology and people right. This is not an either-or. Fourth, capitalize on catalytic M&A. As we integrate Ask Sage and CargoSeer and advance these capabilities for our customers and within the company, we will continue to consider catalytic technologies that enhance our ability to serve our national security and travel and trade markets. We are well positioned to deploy our capital to acquire both market position and capability where the right opportunities arise in our areas of focus. We already have momentum. Let me now turn to how we are translating that into growth. Ask Sage has continued to scale across the U.S. government. Adoption metrics have remained strong, and utilization continues to grow month over month. We are actively cross-selling the platform into BigBearAI's existing customer base beyond the Department of War. We are also accelerating the development of Ask Sage's Edge offering, a turnkey solution that delivers the Ask Sage platform on a ruggedized, portable hardware system the size of a carry-on suitcase. This solution brings Ask Sage into denied, degraded, intermittent, and limited bandwidth environments like forward operating bases and naval vessels, enabling operators to leverage Ask Sage anywhere without reaching back to the cloud. And as the market moves toward agentic frameworks, we are already running at an accelerated pace. Not only do we have the agent builder available natively within Ask Sage, we intend to stay on the cutting edge and deliver purpose-built agents and workflows to support missions along with the technology we make available through the Ask Sage platform. Beyond Ask Sage, capture campaigns aligned to the One Big Beautiful Bill are well underway, expanding our pipeline across DHS and defense and positioning us to compete for generational funding. And within our Department of War business, we launched a strategic partnership with C-Speed, a leader in advanced software-defined radar. This partnership will extend our capabilities to deliver real-time intelligence and operational support in contested environments, further strengthening our value proposition for defense and intelligence customers. Additionally, we are actively collaborating with Fincantieri, one of the world's largest shipbuilding groups, demonstrating strong progress. This is one example of how our shipyard AI solutions will drive innovation and operational efficiency against a major funding stream in the One Big Beautiful Bill. These achievements underscore our ability to deliver cutting-edge solutions that meet the evolving needs of customers, and we're excited to see good traction. Turning to our second core market, travel and trade, our international expansion and recent acquisition activity are generating momentum. BigBearAI announced a partnership with Abu Dhabi Ports Group at the end of January. Abu Dhabi Ports is one of the region's premier trade and logistics platforms and will play a central role in BigBearAI's efforts to drive secure global trade and economic growth through its integrated portfolio of world-class ports, industrial zones, and logistics services. Together, we are focused on developing next-generation AI-powered customs management systems for ports and borders. By leveraging advanced analytics and AI image analysis, we intend to enhance operational efficiency, streamline customs processes, and improve trade facilitation across the region. This collaboration highlights the growing demand for innovative AI solutions in critical infrastructure and offers strong long-term potential. In North America, our Veriscan platform continues to expand. We are now live at Chicago O'Hare, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, Nashville, and Calgary International Airport in support of biometrically enabled enhanced passenger processing programs. These deployments are improving security, accelerating processing times, and enhancing the traveler experience at some of the busiest airports. And finally, CargoSeer's platform for combining AI automated image analysis and trade data is needed by customs administrations and aviation security authorities. We see actionable targets in Central America, the Middle East, and within the United States, where the platform's predictive cargo risk scoring capabilities are directly relevant to governments and commercial operators seeking to strengthen the efficiency of their customs, duty collection, and supply chain operations. In short, we see lots of positive developments to drive growth across our portfolio. Now I'll turn it over to Sean to walk through the financials and our FY 2026 guidance.
Thanks, Kevin. I'll start by highlighting key accomplishments from 2025, and we'll then move to our results for the fourth quarter. This year, we raised $693 million in proceeds from our ATM facilities and warrant exercises, and we're able to close on the acquisition of Ask Sage. The momentum hasn't stopped in 2026. In the first quarter, we closed on the acquisition of CargoSeer and fully settled the 2029 notes by exercising our right to force conversion of the notes into common stock, which will save almost $9 million of annualized interest expense through the end of 2029. We intend to settle the remaining $17 million on our 2026 notes when those mature at the end of this year. These milestones have not only strengthened our balance sheet, but have also put us on a trajectory for sustainable growth. We've also made meaningful progress strengthening our internal controls. Earlier this year, we transitioned out of emerging growth company status, which brought with it the added rigor of SOX 404(b) compliance, including an independent auditor attestation on our internal controls. I'm pleased to report that our auditor has issued a clean, unqualified opinion reflecting well on the work our team has put into building a more mature control environment. As you'll see in today's 10-K filing, we're also pleased to report that the material weakness that we disclosed in last year's filing has been fully remediated as of December 31st, 2025. Now let's turn to our operating results for the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter revenue was $27.3 million, a decrease of $16.5 million year over year, which was primarily driven by lower volume on Army programs, which we referenced on previous earnings calls, and which was accounted for in our revised guidance, which we provided in our second quarter earnings call. Gross margins decreased year over year. Gross margin for the fourth quarter of 2025 was 20.4% versus 37.4% for the comparable period, primarily due to certain one-time items, including high-margin license deliveries and a fringe and overhead true-up, both of which occurred in the fourth quarter of 2024 and were not repeated in the fourth quarter of 2025. SG&A expenses in the fourth quarter of 2025 were $25.7 million versus $22.2 million in the comparable period. The increase in SG&A was primarily related to certain new growth and marketing investments as we committed to in the second quarter and third quarter of this year. R&D expenses increased from $2.3 million in the fourth quarter of 2024 to $4.8 million in the fourth quarter of 2025, as we continue to invest in new capabilities and technologies across the domains of national security and travel and trade. Our net loss for the fourth quarter was $5.8 million versus a net loss of $138.2 million in the comparable period. The decrease in net loss was primarily due to a non-cash gain on the fair value of derivatives of $143.4 million, a loss on extinguishment of debt of $31.3 million in the fourth quarter of 2024, not repeated in the fourth quarter of 2025, an income tax benefit of $21.8 million in the fourth quarter of 2025 related to the Ask Sage acquisition, and an increase of interest income of $6.2 million related to our investments. These were partially offset by a non-cash impairment of long-lived assets of $53.4 million recorded in the fourth quarter of 2025. Adjusted EBITDA for the fourth quarter was negative $10.3 million versus positive $2 million in the comparable period. The decrease in adjusted EBITDA was primarily driven by lower revenue and gross margins, as well as increased spend on SG&A and R&D, as previously mentioned. Now let's turn to our outlook for 2026. We are projecting full year 2026 revenue of between $135 million and $165 million. Our 2026 outlook includes the results of our recent acquisitions of Ask Sage and CargoSeer and represents about 17% growth from our full year 2025 revenue. Given the pace of play in the AI markets and investments we will undertake to integrate recent acquisitions and expand our international presence and growth team, we will not be giving adjusted EBITDA guidance at this time. Lastly, I'd like to mention our proxy solicitation to amend our certificate of incorporation to authorize 500 million shares of common stock that can be used in the future. It is good housekeeping for a company at our stage of growth to have authorized shares in reserve to allow us to respond quickly in a dynamic market. That is why it is common practice for businesses looking to accelerate. The two largest proxy advisory firms, Glass Lewis and ISS, recommended a for vote, and our board of directors unanimously supports the proposal. More than 8 in 10 shareholders have voted for the amendment. And as of today's call, we are more than 97% of the way to securing the votes needed to pass the proposal. We have learned that reaching and mobilizing everyone, particularly smaller shareholders, takes time. We would like to thank our shareholders for the support they have shown us. As I close this section, I would underscore again that BigBearAI is in the strongest financial position in our history, and we intend to make it even stronger so that we can invest in our technology and R&D, invest in attracting and retaining top talent, and make further strategic acquisitions. Just as we have established greater financial flexibility in the last 12 months, we intend to enhance our freedom to move quickly in the future. I'll now turn it back to Kevin to give a few closing remarks.
Thanks, Sean. I would like to close on a note that highlights why I'm excited about the year ahead and our ability to support our customers in this intense strategic moment globally. And that's the fact that as a company, we have a huge core of former operators. We deeply understand our customers' missions. We've augmented that expertise with cutting-edge technologies that we can apply, understanding the reality of the use cases that our customers deal with every day. Mission-ready technology by operators for operators. That's distinct from companies who primarily integrate others' capabilities and from startups who don't understand the operational context. What our national security customers and global partners need is the ability to apply emerging tech securely, to move rapidly and with greater flexibility than ever before to address emerging threats and challenges. And that's what we intend to do for them this year. Thank you very much for your time today and your continuing support of BigBearAI.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, this does conclude today.
All right, so the earnings call has wrapped up here. Let me share my window again. A lot to unpack in that earnings call, some positives and some negatives. I was a bit disappointed with the last thing that was said there when the financial part of the the earnings call at the very end, he did talk about some possible dilution. They have already about 97% approval on this, 500 million shares that could come out into dilution. So he did drop that bomb right at the very end, but also he did talk again about how Big Bear's current financial sheet, their balance sheet, is the strongest it has ever been. And so when we do look at how they did report on this earnings, I finally got the earnings hub to load here. We could see how it looks on the expectations versus what the reality is in terms of revenue expectations. So it was expected for them to come in at 32 million. They did come in a little bit lower than expected at 27 million. So they did miss by 17% when it did come to revenue, but they did beat in terms of earnings per share at 83% on a beat, coming in with an EPS of just -1 cent. A lot to unpack in that earnings call. Let's see if we could actually get a presentation of the slides here now that it is over, and we'll just go through these slides once again because there was a lot to unpack with this earnings call, a lot of interesting things to be said, especially with the expansion out in the Middle East, and then also the Cargo Sear acquisition that they have had, which helps with human trafficking, drugs, all of that. So we'll get into this in just a second. Let's just go back to the chat here. Let's see what everyone is saying. I'm new. This good people. So how did BigBearAI did? How did they do? They did all right. You know, they did miss in terms of a revenue. So they did come in with a disappointing quarter again for Q4, but they also had some decent guidance going forward. If you just joined us, we're about to go back through this earnings call. Why is it called the Big Bear? Because it has been very bearish in 2025 and 2026 thus far. No, all jokes aside, yeah, it's a funny name. You know, I've heard many people say they don't like the name of Big Bear. Some look at it as Big Brother, especially with the technology that they provide and how close they are to the government. Good on earnings, bad on revenue. That's only to have it on reserve doesn't mean it will be executed in the near term. No, I absolutely agree with you on that. So they do have the approval almost set, about 97% approval to be able to do some dilution up to 500 million shares worth, but it is positive the direction we are seeing with the revenue and with the debt coming down and what they have recently done with the big acquisitions, how they are out in the Middle East, everything like that. Bottom line, no revenue, no new contracts, and upcoming dilution. You know, I could see totally why you would perceive it that way. Again, the revenue expectations aren't tremendous, and they did say that they have about 97% approval to do dilution up to 500 million shares worth. They are building a super strong foundation. So this is the other way to look at it. So you could look at this earnings call and what we saw today with this person's viewpoint right here. The bottom line, not much revenue. We have been pretty stagnant there. No new contracts. That is true as of right now, and upcoming dilution. But I would say it's pretty massive what they have recently done with Ask Sage and then also with Cargo Sear. Very interesting, them being out in the Middle East and all the everything they talked about with the borders. And so I do believe with Kid Wit here that they are building a super strong foundation. Oh, looks like I muted my mic there. 44.71% of shares held by large institutional investors. By the way, you could see the wrench next to Eric Poley's name. So Eric, I have made you a moderator of these live chats. And so you have the power to kick someone out if they are causing some problems in the live streams. Eric has been with this channel for a very long time, a very strong supporter of the channel. So if you are someone who does attend these live streams often, you may also get the chance to have a wrench next to your name, become a moderator of the channel. Smash the like button. Please do, everybody. Last time I checked, there was about 43 likes in this live stream. We have about 183 still here, so very exciting to see. Big Bear is a ski mountain in California. I crashed hard there once. It's a catchy name, Big Bear, Big Brother. Any new partnerships or contracts? You know, they did talk about some recent ones with Ask Sage and then also Cargo Sear, giving them some more power out in the Middle East and then around the borders. Again, we'll get into this in just a second. I can't give Trevor a thumbs up. Where the heck is that button? Let me go see. Did I turn that off? I don't think I did. We're going to take a look to make sure I didn't turn off the thumbs, and then we'll get into everything that was with this. Strong like a big bear. I think he turned it off. Well, let's see if I did turn it off. I'm going to go over to my watch page here. By the way, again, thank you to everybody who is here. We have had a very successful live today. This has been it shows to me that I could still hit the like button. Right now we have 55 likes and we have 167 here. So we have about 100 more than we have likes. If you have enjoyed the stream, please hit the like button. I am still a small YouTuber and I am growing and I am starting to go live more often. So if you enjoyed this live, I am going live every single Sunday from here on out. We are always going live 30 minutes before the overnight session on Sunday, talking about everything we could expect with the stock market for the week. Norris, you still have yet to wish me a happy birthday. They have 435 million shares now, so they are going up 65 million shares of another 500 million. Yay, thank you. Okay, now we will officially get into what this quarter looked like. So again, they closed the year 2025 with their strongest financial position in company history. We will see a bar chart here in a little bit that will show all of that. Total cash and investments of 462 million by the year close, settled the remaining 125 million of 2029 convertible notes. And so this is huge right here. They did take care of some of the dilution possibilities that were in the future with these convertible notes right here. Let's go down into this. Let's take a look here at the beautiful charts that we have here. Give me a second, everybody. I'd like to see, this might just be the actual sheet. I want to see the presentation that they gave because that's where it's all nice and pretty, right? Okay, so also they did take away the adjusted EBITDA expectations for 2026. Another thing that I don't like to see. Many strong investors do want to see what the actual adjusted EBITDA does look like. So that is a bit of a negative here, but this right here is what I was most impressed with Big Bear's earnings call today. This big three that we have here, the financial foundations, record cash and investments, reduced debt. That is massive to take stress off of the company. Right here, the biggest of them all, the UAE expansion. They talked about going out to Abu Dhabi, opened up a new office, established key partnerships. We have the big acquisitions of Ask Sage and Cargo Sear, the three big shifts: U.S. national security strategy, collaboration between USG and American private sector, the cross-border threats, terrorism, narcotics, espionage, and human trafficking. They talked a lot about this. Kevin talked a lot about this in the earnings call. Very important that they are doing this. A lot of tensions right now around the borders. We know, especially out in Mexico, everything that is going on. And so BigBearAI at all these different airports with the face scan technology, and we may see even more with all of this border protection that they have. The Cargo Sear, frontier model advancements, generational leaps in reasoning, multi-model AI in 6-week window, rapid compression into smaller specialized models, enables tactical hardware without a cloud connection, and then Department of War AI acceleration strategy, 30-day frontier model deployment mandate, the national security here, travel and trade. This talks about a lot of what they did in 2025 as well. Cross-selling Ask Sage, accelerating Ask Sage Edge offering, partnered with C-Speed in software-defined radar technologies, travel and trade. This was huge to me. Expanded in the UAE and Abu Dhabi ports groups. That was massive. They deployed more Veriscan out in Chicago, Seattle, Nashville, and Calgary. So out in Canada. Mr. Eric, I know that you are out in Canada. And then this is what it looks like in terms of their cash investments and total debt. So we did see their cash went down a bit here in the fourth quarter, but we did expect this because they did acquire Ask Sage and Cargo Seer, and their debt still does remain around the same at 142. And then the 2026 here, the main notes here, we got the conversion of the 2029 notes. Again, that is huge. The Cargo Seer acquisition, and then their guidance for this next year. This is just guidance in terms of revenue. Again, they took away the adjusted EBITDA numbers, but the guidance is at 135 million to 165 million. And then what is not shown in this presentation is their ability to most likely be able to do some dilution up to 500 million shares worth. They have about 97% approval right now. But the main notes that I took here is that they did expand in the UAE and Abu Dhabi. Now let's take a look here at the stock price, see how it is currently, right at a price of $3.92. So we just got some choppy movements here in this earnings call. At one point, we got all the way up to that beautiful number of 420, dropping all the way down to around 375, and now stabilizing right under $4. So we just saw some sideways consolidation, but not too surprising. We started out this earnings call talking about our expectations where the stock price might move, and we have a big cluster with the options market right around 350, $4, and $4.50. And so, funny enough, it was cool that we went through that right through the very beginning, because that is exactly about where we remained at. You know, getting up to getting down to 370 at one point, about 375, and then up to about 420. So a lot of pressure at this zone. When we do look at the long-term technicals with the Big Bear right now, we are at a spot where we are beat down, and we may potentially see an oversold reversal. Today's earnings call, in my opinion, kind of like the price movements that we saw, a bit mixed today. In my opinion, I am more bullish on what we saw than bearish, though, as I do believe that this company is still showing growth. I love to see what they are doing with Ask Sage, and then also Cargo Seer, and then again, more involvement in the Middle East, which may be huge here because of everything that we have most recently seen with Iran. So overall, I would say that this was a positive earnings call for me. I do like what we saw with Big Bear, again, continuing on the expectations of what we've been thinking, that it is going to be some continued slow growth, but they are growing as a company. We are seeing improvements in terms of how they have, for the most part, paid off their debt in 2025 and their look to build more for the future. Found it again, had to turn my phone off. My bad. Oh, okay. Did you lose us in the stream there for a second? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. We only need one contract announcement to take off this year. Yeah, that's what's so great about the Big Bear, is they have paid off a lot of their debt. They do have a decent cash position. Just as they said, they have their strongest balance sheet they have ever had in the history of the company. Working at the borders, that is massive, and at all of the airports. 430 by the end of the week. Again, a big options cluster here has the break-even price right at around 450, and so max pain could happen if we expire slightly under that 450. We could see a lot of options expire worthless, which the dealers would love to see. So I could see us getting slightly under that range of 450 this week. I am projecting that we remain in this range right around 375 to 450 at the highest, and a close at 430 by the end of the week wouldn't be unreasonable. It would also be positive to see that, as we would start to push up again closer to the 50-day, 200-day MA. And again, the technicals do support that we are looking a bit oversold, and we may get an oversold reversal. Now, Eric is right here. If we do get one big contract, if we get something this week or this month, especially with all the geopolitical tension in the air, we could see a big surge up. And so it has been a long time since we have actually got any big news from the Big Bear, some major catalysts. In 2025, it seemed that we were getting new getting tongue twisted here. New news articles. That is a tongue twister there. New news articles like every single month, right? But the catalysts haven't been as bullish here in the short term. But again, a lot has been happening with the government, including some shutdowns that we have seen. More than doubling share count is authorized. That is brutal. Yeah, that is one thing I took by the end of the call, Eric. I was not happy with what they were saying about the potential to dilute up to 500 million shares worth. And they have about a 97% approval right now. So most likely it will go through. When we do look at how many shares are outstanding with Big Bear right now, let's take a look to see how big that actually would be. So Big Bear, let's type in Big Bear here. The Big Bear currently does have shares outstanding of 436 million. So adding 500 million to that, getting closer to that billion, that is pretty large. And Big Bear right now does have a lot of bears against the Big Bear with a 30% short interest. And so Big Bear right now still looking to turn the ship around. They are working towards profitability. They are looking towards expansion and growth. And we would like to see a big surge up in the share price. And if Big Bear does come out with some type of big news in the future, we really could see a squeeze with this 30% flow on the short interest for the Big Bear. Again, we are kind of in a range right now in between 350 and 450. I do believe if Big Bear does come out with some positive news, we could see an explosion, but a lot of pressure on this stock currently, especially with such a high short interest. And right now, expectations, what we just saw for the guidance of 2026, a look to have a boost in the revenue, but not by any tremendous amount. But this company does have a lot of potential and a lot of potential to pick up more contracts. Again, a positive that they are out in the Middle East. If we have to see more expansion there in the UAE, Abu Dhabi, out in the Middle East, Big Bear is well positioned for all of that. Just one, come on, big, beautiful bill. Also, this was mentioned by Kevin in the earnings call. He did talk about the big, beautiful bill. So the big, beautiful bill is big for defense, and that is big for the Big Bear, which again did talk about how they are out in the Middle East, which is massive. And so BigBearAI is a defense stock. Again, I have a lot of options contracts on the Big Bear going out to 2027 and all the way out to 2028. That is why I love the options market and investing in leaps and investing long term, because I can't say exactly what will happen with the Big Bear over the next week, over the next month, but I do believe in what the Big Bear is doing over the long term. And again, my heart goes out to anybody who is affected by war. That is very sad to see everything that is happening out in the Middle East. But what is happening right now is a war is going on between the United States and out in Iran. And so with Big Bear's involvement in the Middle East, if we have to see more expansion of Big Bear, or you could call them Big Brother, this could be positive for this company of Big Bear. And like some were talking about earlier in the stream, for a long time, Palantir sat under the range of $10. And then we saw a massive explosion with Palantir. And that is because of all the government contracts that they have gotten and how much utility and, value they bring to the government. So Big Bear is positioned at a great place, especially with their CEO, Kevin. And so I do see Big Bear having a big surge up sometime in the near future. Now, I am not comparing Big Bear to Palantir as a one-to-one. There still needs to be a lot more growth in the Big Bear. But the reason why we invest into the Big Bear is because this is still a small cap stock at a market value of just 1.73 billion. So they are under 2 billion in terms of the market cap, and a ton of potential with the Big Bear. And again, they work very close with the United States government. You could basically call them a government organization themselves, and they're out in the Middle East. They have, also paid off a lot of debt. So a lot of positives with the Big Bear. BigBearAI projects full year 2026 revenue between 135 and 165 million, representing approximately 17% growth at the midpoint. Yeah, that is a positive. So it is decent to see that their expectations are to have growth when it does come to the revenue. And the earnings per share on this last earnings that we just went through, not too bad either, coming in at just -1 cent on the EPS. Get your dry powder ready. to buy the dips? Well, I am well positioned. I have bought a lot of my options contracts already with the Big Bear, including most recently. So I put these green little markers on where I have recently bought with the Big Bear, and I did buy the 2 dips here most recently. If we do see some more retraction, yes, I will buy some more Big Bear going out to 2028. Happy birthday to Wheels. Do they really want to dilute done to $1 a share? I'm hoping to not see too much dilution. Again, they have the approval of up to 500 million shares to be diluted, but I am also not expecting them to dilute all at once. And just like they said on the earnings call, when it comes to the power of dilution, the ability to issue more shares, this does help the company to raise cash. This is how they did some of their acquisition here at the end of 2025 with Ask Sage doing some dilution. So not the worst for the growth in the company, but of course, as shareholders, we don't love to see that, but I'm also not expecting for them to just do all the dilution at just one point. But with this company, a small cap company, like many small caps, there is the fear of dilution to raise capital. But again, just like this other comment mentioned right here, they are expecting about 17% growth at the midpoint. So that is huge. But again, the company also did take off their adjusted EBITDA for the year of 2026, which is big for many investors. And so things with the Big Bear when it comes financially, still a bit choppy, still a little bit uncertain. But overall, I do believe in the growth, the long-term growth with this company. I will definitely be buying the dip. F the COMEX. Stephanie, hey, Stephanie, welcome to the live stream. Great to see you here. You were here yesterday. You were here also 2 weeks ago on Sunday. I know what you're talking about, the COMEX, them raising the margin requirements when it does come to silver. Let's get off of Big Bear for just a second and go take a look at the iShares Silver Trust, because it did have a hard retraction today. So yes, at the COMEX, they did raise the margin requirements for leverage. We did see a hard sell-off in silver today in SLV, but I do like where silver is currently looking at, especially with all the geopolitical tensions right now. I am still very bullish on the hard metals, and with silver on the iShares Silver Trust, we just saw a bullish cross on the MACD. So I'm possibly going to look at doing a trade here on silver sometime soon. Stephanie, are you also in the Big Bear? We just went through their whole live earnings report and the call. So if you want to go back once we're done here on the stream, which will just be in a couple minutes, we're about to wrap up here in just a second, but we went through everything. So there was some exciting price action, and we also listened to the entire earnings call. So there was a lot to go over. Overall, I am still very bullish on the Big Bear. That is why Buddy sits in our background back there. So wave to the audience, Mr. Big Bear. Look at that baseball there too. Thanks. Thank you. Great to see you here, William. And thank you to everybody who participated in the live today. A ton of fun. Again, if this is your first time in the live Green Money Momentum, what we have been doing, we are doing this every single Sunday, 30 minutes before the overnight market opens. We're always talking about our expectations for the stock market. And again, I feel like I am living the dream. I absolutely love to do this. And so I have so much fun. We have had a ton of engagement here, and we plan on going live as much as possible in the very near future. And I just thank everybody who was here today. Stephanie, did someone tinkle on your cornflakes, or are you hung over from yesterday? LOL, just pulling your leg. That is so funny. For anybody who was not a part of yesterday's live stream, apparently it was Stephanie's birthday, and she was either getting hung over on alcohol or cake and ice cream, or maybe even both, a sugar and an alcohol high. What year was Palantir at 7? It was quite a while back now. Let's go take a look. I remember back in the day, everyone was always talking about Palantir. Palantir was such a hot stock, but it was not moving in terms of price action. I really started to make my investments into Palantir, I believe for the first time was right around 13, and I got in more heavy around 20 and 30 back in the day for a long while. I mean, look at how far back you have to go on Palantir to see this. During these years, back in 2023. This was when Palantir was around $7. And I remember so many on Wall Street Bets and online and on YouTube were so bullish on Palantir, talking about all the great things with this company. And it just wasn't moving with the share price. Very similar to how Big Bear is right now. Many are talking about Big Bear online. But again, don't get me wrong, in terms of Big Bear to Palantir, there are some similarities. But even back then, Palantir was still a bigger company, still gaining more government contracts. But I do believe that Big Bear is on the way, and I do believe that Big Bear could have a big rip up sometime in the very near future. Overall, I am bullish on the Big Bear, but in the short term, things may continue to chop sideways. But if you are a long-term investor with this company, I do believe in everything this company is doing, especially with what they talked about in their earnings call today with Abu Dhabi, the UAE, the Middle East, the borders, Ask Sage, and then also Cargo Seer. Stephanie, hey, great to see you here. We need some Big Bear t-shirts. That's funny. Great video, great time. Thank you for the insight. Hey, thank you so much. We're about to log off here in just a moment. I'm just going to continue to interact with the chat. So if you have anything to say with me before I get off, we're going to be hopping off here in a few minutes. I'm going to go hit the gym, go do something fun, go get some exercise. But overall, this was a very positive and eventful live earnings. And so everybody who attended, I thank you all for being here. We had quite the engagement. We had a lot participating here in the chat. We still have a decent amount of viewers here with 83. And when I go look at my YouTube channel, let's go, baby. Woo! I feel great. Thank you all so much. Before we started today, we had about 2,601 subscribers. We gained 19 on this live call. So everybody who joined us, thank you so much. We are all a part of the Green Money Momentum family. We feel like the champs today. Let's go. The price action with the Big Bear right now sitting at no movement at just $3.96. But the Green Money Momentum channel is growing, seeing some big growth. I'm still a small YouTuber, less than 3,000 subscribers, but I am very dedicated to this channel, very dedicated to putting out info for all of you, doing more videos. I do the daily talk of stock every single day, and then often I will go live now every single Sunday 30 minutes before the overnight session opens. And so I absolutely love doing this. I have a ton of big visions with this channel, and I truly believe that this is only the beginning, and we are in the circle of winners here at Green Money Momentum. Do you have any idea how far in debt Bezos was in? Gosh, my gosh, I get so tongue twisted after talking for an hour. Do you have any idea how far in debt Bezos was in during the Amazon startup? Well, Eric, I mean, it's all up to speculation. As we've talked about before, Truth Bomb here, Jeff Bezos's grandfather was a part of DARPA, the Deep Advanced Research Projects Agency. And so he actually helped to start the internet. You can look that up if you just type in Jeff Bezos's grandfather. So, with Jeff Bezos, I take his origin story with a grain of salt. I don't know how much of Amazon is truly the government, but let's take a look here. Let's type in, if you just type in Jeff Bezos's grandpa in Google here, you get with Gemini, Lawrence Preston Geis, a key figure in his upbringing who served as a regional director for the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission and helped manage early operations for DARPA. Bezos spent summers with him on a Texas ranch, learning self-reliance, resourceful, and the value of kindness. Wow, that is funny. Out of everything his father, who was a part of DARPA, could have taught him, he taught him kindness. Okay, well, that is very interesting. That is so funny. But yeah, Jeff Bezos, interesting figure there. I'm not saying that Amazon wasn't started legit, but it's funny. Some just think of Jeff Bezos's dad as like the guy he didn't meet who just owns a bike shop. But, Amazon may have some influence originally coming from the government. Again, that is pretty big to have your grandfather in DARPA. Thanks, Trevor. Till next time, Ollie, thank you for attending the live. It was great to see you here. First time on your channel. Very informative. Thank you. Well Soul Mediation. meditation, soul meditation. I appreciate you for joining us on the live today. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to the channel. We are constantly looking to grow. We talk a ton about stocks. We go through these earnings calls. We go through the options market. So we talk a lot about options and just overall theses and opinions on the stock market. Again, this is never financial advice for this whole stream, and anything you see on this channel, never financial advice, purely just my opinion. Eric, how much? Great work, brother. Hey, great for being here. Great. Thank you for sending me the links, Eric. This was a fun live stream. Again, if this is your first time being here on the channel, please subscribe. I plan on going live many more times in the future. And this was fun, but I plan on making the live streams even more exciting. And I actually thought the last Big Bear live stream was a lot more exciting when we did see the big surge up in stock price. Today, we did just sit in kind of a sideways channel. But again, no surprise when we do look at the cluster happening in the options market and the major gamma wall. It was where is it at? Right at about $4.50 with some gamma right around $4.50, and then all the way down to $3.50. So not surprised by the sideways consolidation that we got in today's earnings call with the Big Bear. 2023 Palantir. Oh, wow, that wasn't too long ago. No, exactly. So it's funny with the stock market, sometimes things could feel like they take forever, especially if you are greedy and you want things to happen just like that. I mean, I'm sure all of us would love to see Big Bear just pump up to $20, right? Like right now, that would have been amazing to see Kevin come out and say, we got a $1 billion contract at the, we got a $1 billion contract here at the border. Now the valuation on Big Bear is so much different. All of us would be celebrating, but many things take some time. But with time, you could become very profitable and very rich with the stock market if you are able to sit out some of the volatility and you are there when the major price swing happens. That is why I am in contracts in Big Bear going out to 2027 and all the way out to 2028. Hey, George, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. You've been in the last couple of live streams here for the earnings today. It was a great time. And for everybody who did support today, thank you all for being here. Keep up the great work. Trevor is very smart and humble. Great guy. Well, thank you, Norris. I appreciate that. Hey, WWE x NBA news. Are the earnings out? If not, how long? Hey, my friend, WWE, you got John Cena, the never seen 17 with his Lakers jersey right there. Yeah, Big Bear did release their earnings already. We earlier in the call, we went through the earnings call. So the first thing that happened is the earnings was released shortly after the market closed. So we went through that. The revenue expectations did come in a bit disappointing. So they did miss on Wall Street's expectations. They did beat in terms of earnings per share. And there is expectations for this next year for 17% growth by the midpoint of 2026. So their guidance does look positive. This quarter did not look the greatest, but we initially saw the numbers come out. Then we went through the earnings report with the executives. So we listened to that. And then we did a little bit of an analysis on the presentation after that. So if you didn't see any of that, just go through the live stream because it is packed with a ton of information. Didn't Tesla in the days have share dilution? Most companies have had some share dilution. When we talk about dilution, this does help companies grow. It does help them to raise capital. So many times, many companies will dilute with the shares, but enthusiastic investors can eat up those shares, which we want to see with Big Bear, and we could still see more price surges and momentum, especially if the company does continue to grow. And BigBearAI is a great investment opportunity if you are willing to sit out and wait through some of the short-term volatility. You know, if you're able to buy these shares and just wait it out, because Big Bear, even though in the short term, I mean, we have seen quite the consolidation trend in the Big Bear, and then it did break down, right? So we have been in some very frustrating sideways momentum for quite some time now, really going all the way back to the midpoint of last year, June of 2025. But when we compare to where we started at in 2025, we are a lot higher than we were were at that point. So at one point in 2024, when we started to cover Big Bear, and this is why it's so important to be in place for the long term, Big Bear was just reaching into the $2 range. At one point, we saw Big Bear reach all the way up to $10 plus, and then really we have went sideways. Many online, again, are very bullish on the Big Bear, including myself, but we are seeing a company that is still under some work, under a construction zone, to say there is still a lot of building going on with the Big Bear, but a lot of real utility and value that they do bring to the U.S. government, to a lot of different airports. And with this earnings call, they did talk about a lot of that, expanding out in the Middle East, out in Abu Dhabi, out in the UAE. And again, BigBearAI has a lot of value. And with everything that we are seeing right now, when it comes to the defense sector of the markets, I am bullish on defense right now. I am also bullish on the hard metals, but that is because of a lot of the geopolitical tensions that we are currently seeing, and the markets in general did not have too rough of a day. So there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt going into today's session, and that is because we officially saw the strikes this weekend from the U.S. government, which was even confirmed by our president. But just like this article reads right here, the S&P teeters, cutting earlier losses as traders buy the dip after U.S.-Iran attacks. And so the markets today were actually decently bullish. When we do look at the heat map here, we had 53% in the gaining category. And when we do look at both of the major indexes, they really did not have too much movement altogether, which is basically all we have been seeing in the major indexes is sideways movement. But many were super fearful today that we were going to see the Black Monday. That did not happen. The major indexes continue to just trade sideways. Again, a lot of pressure on the SPY, on the S&P right around 7,000, the SPY at 700. And when it comes to the NASDAQ, we just have not been able to get back to the highs that we were at in October. But that is not surprising because, of course, the NASDAQ is tech heavy, and tech has been having a very rough time really since October. There has been some liquidity issues in the markets. And then it is not helping that Michael Burry came out and said that AI has been in a bubble. So a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt around technology. But I am very bullish on technology altogether. And I do believe before we know it, we will start to see some bullish surges in the market. Yesterday, we did our weekly preparation video, and we talked all about everything we are expecting for the week and going forward. So I do believe that everything the Federal Reserve is doing is overall positive for the bulls. And I do believe that we are going to see a lot more quantitative easing in 2026, especially when we get Jerome Powell out of office. By the way, talking about that, let's take a look at the expectations for the next meeting. Wow. So the expectations got shot today. So the expectations for a rate cut at the next meeting in March were already low, just about 7% yesterday, but now less than a 5% projection that the Fed does cut at the next meeting. But I am not surprised by this. Again, if you check out yesterday's live stream, we talked all about this, and we are expecting rate cuts later in the year when we do get the new federal chairman, who should be Kevin Warsh. Right now, he is going to get in May, and in June, the next meeting right after the new federal chairman, there is about a 46% projection that we do see a cut, and I am expecting for us to get that cut either in June or sometime later in the year. And if you just look at the Fed's balance sheet again, like we did yesterday, so if you really want a deeper analysis, go into yesterday's live stream. To me, it is obvious there was a big runoff when it comes to the assets from the era of quantitative tightening, which came shortly after the big COVID push that we had and everything like that. And now we have started to see a reversal on that trend. Are you doing AMPX earnings call Thursday, March 5th? Trevor, let's just go take a look at AMPX. Let's see if it's earnings call Thursday, AMPX. Which one is AMPX here? AMPX is not a stock that I cover. Amprius Technologies, interesting here. They are expected to have a large quarterly. It's going to be early in the morning, so maybe I will do that. We've had a pretty positive pretty positive reaction to today's earnings report. So 6 a.m. is a bit early out here in Arizona, but if I get enough likes on this live stream, I may consider going live for AMPX. Amprius Technologies, a lithium stock, right? So yeah, so hey, if you guys all hit the like button, if you like what you're seeing, maybe I will go. I am interested in AMPX. Let's take a look here in AMPX in terms of technical analysis. They are expected to have their largest quarterly in terms of revenue coming up. That's going to be on Thursday. Overall, the chart does look pretty bullish, and it does appear that we may be seeing that bullish cross on the MACD. So a very interesting play here, a lithium play. I pray the animals are okay. I love animals myself. I had a couple dogs growing up. I had some cats growing up, and I love animals, man. They are so much fun. They bring so much joy to life. I love all animals, such innocent, fun creatures. So anyway, well, I'm about out of things to say now, unless there's anything else you guys want to see. If you want to see a quick analysis on another ticker here, we are almost at the 2-hour mark. And so it seems that with these live streams, again, I'm now doing them every single Sunday. It seems that we last usually around 1 hour and 30 minutes to about 2 hours. But we are wrapping up here. Not much more to say with the Big Bear. Ondas holding earnings in 10 days. Hey, Ondas, yes. Let's take a look here at Ondas. Ondas. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, $10.70. Ondas having a big day. A nice, beautiful candlestick there. Big wick right here at the middle on the relative strength index. We just saw a bullish cross on the MACD. We had some decent momentum in Ondas today. I did do a day trade in Ondas today. I was right around this level, and I got stopped at right here. So I did not make money in my day trade with Ondas today. If you don't know what Ondas is, if you are in here for the Big Bear AI live earnings, if you like these defense stocks, which are around AI, well, another stock similar to that is Ondas. They have some drone technology. They have some contracts with the governments. It looks like their next earnings is going to be on March. I thought you said on March 10. Oh, in 10 days. Well, in 10 days, let's see. When is Ondas's earnings here? But anyway, if you were bullish on this sector of the markets in 14 days, so on March 16th, Ondas is going to be reporting, and look at their earnings expectations set to come out in the morning at 4 a.m. If you want to see me wake up at 4 a.m. Arizona Eastern time, hit that like button. My goodness, look at their expectations for their next quarterly, an absolute explosion in terms of the revenue expectations. I am bullish on Ondas. Again, I'm just trading with Ondas right now, but with knowing what is coming in 14 days, I may be looking at making a swing trade here in ONDS. Big Bear. Big YouTubers like stocks with Josh, Keenan Grace, Chris Sane, Zip Trader, Dylan with Money, and Will Rich all rave about Big Bear AI. I learned about Big Bear AI from Trevor. Well, thank you, my friend. I learned about Big Bear AI myself organically. I obsess over the stock market, so I am like losing my mind with the stock market with how much I'm involved into it. I'm always looking at the market, always reading a ton of different books, always watching a ton of videos, always doing research on different tickers. And Big Bear AI I had found organically. This was in 2024. And then funny enough, with this list of YouTubers you have here, Dylan with Money was the first YouTuber that I saw talking about Big Bear AI. So I did get into Big Bear quite early on, and really Dylan with Money was the only YouTuber that I saw talking about the Big Bear. But I thought the ticker name was interesting, the Big Bear and AI. I was like, what the heck is this, right? And so I clicked on it, and then I just did a whole bunch of research, and it was very interesting what I found. And then later I saw them at the airports. And now With Ondas, for example, I have found this ticker through you guys, maybe even through you, Norris, or someone else who has mentioned Ondas in one of our live streams. And so I really do appreciate the audience that I have here on YouTube. Genuinely, you know, all of you, I love doing this for a trading journal for myself, but also to connect with the audience here. I love the sense of community that we are getting with Green Money Momentum. So I am currently just on YouTube. With time, I really do want to look at expanding this channel outside of just YouTube, doing some TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not really a fan of Twitter, to be honest, but maybe I will even go on there. And I look forward in the future to Robinhood Social, but I have a long-term vision with this channel. And the main reasons why I do it is to improve myself as an investor. This is a trading journal for myself, but also for the reasons of connecting with other investors and synergy, because great minds think alike. And when you have more in a community, you could bounce ideas off of each other and all improve together. That's what's so great about high performance environments, where everybody is a high performance individual. And if you get yourself in a group of high performance individuals, if you become a high performance group, all the individuals that now become together. Now it's synergy and we all push up together. And so that's what I see with this Ondas pick right here, a stock that I was not really aware of before everyone started mentioning it in my live. So I do appreciate everybody who has mentioned ONDS. Genius Sports, please. Okay, let's take a look here at Genius Sports. You see, again, I appreciate you guys mentioning the tickers here, because Genius Sports, I don't even know what this company is right here, but let's take a look. So Genius Sports here, overall, it does look like it is pretty beat down from where it had its initial public offering, which was back in 2021. In terms of technical analysis here in the short term, it looks like there was something recently in February that did cause a hard slide. Could just be the macros are ugly and maybe even something individual about this company, but we are beat down on this play on the candlestick chart, well under the 200-day and 50-day MA. Low on the relative strength index, and then seeing a bullish cross on the MACD. Now let's go take a look at what this company actually is, because this is the first time I have heard about this company. Genesis Sports, Genius Sports here, market cap of 1.5 billion, expected to have a large quarterly coming up, 235 million for their expectation. This is going to be in 2 days. And so, okay, it looks like it is coming up in just 2 days. Interesting there. And I'm assuming this is some type of sports company. Let me just type this in on Google again. I appreciate this, guys. You drop some very interesting tickers to me at times. Delivers cutting edge sports data, analytics, and tech solutions. Again, guys, I am pretty well versed in my speaking, but after I'm on live for an hour and 40 minutes, because funny enough, we're all connecting, but if you really think about it, I'm just alone in my place in a way talking to myself. So I'm talking for a long time. So pardon me if you hear any tongue twisters or hear me say anything that is a little off, but a very interesting company that you have presented here. Sports is massive, especially out here in Arizona. There are so many different sports facilities, and very interesting. Just something about me for many years, something I do outside of this channel. It kind of started out as my initial career. I started it when I was fresh out of high school, and that is officiating and refereeing basketball. So being a basketball referee. Now I just do the junior colleges, and so I officiate those. But I do have a sports background myself, many years within sports, and myself, I do know some NCAA referees and even some NBA referees, and some who are currently in grassroots, which is the training for the NBA and should soon be NBA officials. And so I have a big background with sports. I know a lot of different sports athletes, well, sports officials, I should say, and I have officiated some pretty big sports athletes. And so it's very interesting. I personally love sports myself. It is a way I have remained in great shape and a great activity to do in the after hours, right? So I told you about Ondas Green Money. Hey, there we go. Norris, thank you so much. Yes, Ondas, very interesting. Again, Ondas is going to have their their earnings. I believe it was in what was that, 14 days? Yes, they're going to have their earnings in 14 days on March 16th, expected to be a massive quarterly. And this is coming out at 4 a.m. And so I'm going to take a look here at the options market with Ondis. Let me give me 1 second here and I'll pull up the options screen with Ondis. If you're curious why I'm blacking out my screen here, if you are new to this channel, I never talk about dollar amount. I always just talk about return on investment percentage. And that is just because, in my opinion, it is all performance based. So as I get here to the options chain, we just got to get through where you could see some of those numbers. So anyway, let's take a look here at the options chain. So let's go take a look. Let's go far out into the future, just like the Big Bear, January 15th of 2027. You could find some contracts here. This is what I am always looking for in the options market. I am always looking to be near where the current price is, because then you get better break-even prices. And even though the contracts here are a bit more expensive than up here, you have a greater shot at reaching that break-even price. And so for the long term, I may be looking at opening some options contracts with Ondis, especially with what is expected with their next big earnings. And it's massive that their next big earnings is at 4 a.m. because one of the biggest plays that I have ever seen, one of the greatest ROIs I have ever had, was on D-Wave Quantum, and they released their earnings early in a morning, and then they had a positive earnings, and then the momentum in the day was also positive. And so I love when these companies do release earnings in the pre-market, because then this gives a big chance for investors to digest the news early, and then for the momentum to start early in the day. And as investors hear about it, the momentum oftentimes will surge. With that D-Wave Quantum Day, their earnings call that they had, that was massive, that they released the news in the pre-market. I will never forget that. I saw on my portfolio alone with a position, this was on my trading portfolio, just about a 20% position on my entire portfolio with the options contracts. It was able to provide a more than 100% ROI on my entire portfolio in just one day. Now, that was an absolute squeeze in the price. I believe that D-Wave that day went up by like 50 to 70%. But what I love about the options, and why I always talk about the options, is because they provide a ton of leverage on your investment. And so you are essentially holding 100 shares in this example of Ondis at this price right here of $4.20. So $420, you are essentially holding 100 shares of Ondis, which is currently at $10.67. So you get much more opportunity with the options than you do with just holding the shares. A ton of leverage embedded into them. But of course, there is also an expiration date. And if for some reason Ondis does go down with their earnings report, you could also see the ROI on that options contract go down a lot more than just shares. But if you are bullish calls on something like Ondis, that is the way I will likely be playing it. Sorry, bro, too early for you. I forgot the time difference. My apology, Trevor. Hey, I have that insane energy. You know, I'm going to play a clip here because I love this clip, and you guys are still supporting the channel. 38 here in the live chat, and I'm going to play this clip here because I feel that this is such a great clip here, because when it comes to waking up early, Ollie, I could care less, to be honest with you. I have unlimited energy. Let's go to this clip right here, the founder persistence speech. If you guys have ever watched this movie, this clips, this is the founder. This is about Ray Kroc, who really started McDonald's. And so if you've never seen this movie, one of my highest recommendations. This to me is a 10 out of 10 movie, but this speech right here is just about persistence. And so when it comes to waking up early, I don't believe that, you know, it's all in the mindset. I believe that it's all in the mindset. And if you have persistence, anything can be done. And so just like this YouTube channel, we have had some small growth here. We are still under 3,000 subscribers, but you know, the best trait you could have is to be consistent. And I'm going to continue to be consistent with this channel and continue to grow. And we're going to do a lot more than just lives and videos in the future. We're going to be doing a lot more vlogs and even more exciting things with Green Money Momentum. So if you are here right now, you have an OG ticket. You are one of the early ones here, because this channel is going to go a lot further. I have have just been extremely busy here in 2025 and at the beginning of 2026. A lot of time is taken up with my business, but I am going to do a lot more with this channel, just like we did in 2025, how we started it off with our vlog out in Washington, D.C. But that is all going to be through persistence and determination, just like what this clip says right here. So this is really profound to me. I will shut up, let this play here, but one of my favorite clips. I love to often listen.
Persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent won't. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius won't. Unrewarded genius is practically a cliche. Education won't. The world is full of educated fools. Persistence and determination alone are all powerful. Show that you don't have to be defeated by anything, that you can have peace of mind, improved health, and a never-ceasing flow of energy. If you attempt each and every day to achieve these things, the results will make themselves obvious to you. While it may sound like a magical notion, it is in you to create your own future. The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. Ralph Waldo Emerson declared, "A man is what he thinks about all day long."
Woo! That gets me excited. I absolutely love that clip right there. A man is what he thinks about all day long. That is why I am Green Money Momentum, because I think about the markets all day long. Another motivational speech here. Let's take a look here at McGregor. I love Conor McGregor. And what was it? McGregor talking about losing his mind. Let's see this. I love this clip right here. Another motivational speech right here. The Vincent Van Gogh quote.
I've lost my mind on this game, yeah. Like Vincent Van Gogh. He dedicated his life to his art and lost his mind in the process. That's happened to me. But fuck it. When that gold belt was around my waist, and my mother has a big mansion, and my girlfriend has a different car for every day of the week, and my kids have everything they ever want, then it will pay. Then I'm happy I lost my mind. Yeah, I'll die a crazy.
Got to unmute myself. So let's all lose our mind together. Let's all continue to improve together, have synergy together. Again, if you are here for today, this is the very beginning of Green Money Momentum. You have an OG ticket. We are going a lot further in the future. Very exciting to be doing this right now, the time of my life. This is a true blessing to do this. Again, I appreciate every single one of you who joined the live stream today. If you are new, if you just subscribed to the channel, we do a daily talk of stock almost every single day, and every single Sunday we are going live 30 minutes before the overnight market session starts, and we are doing our weekly preparation for the upcoming week in the stock market, talking about everything we could expect on the economic calendar, the earnings calendar, when it comes to the macros, politics, everything else like that. So I am going live a lot more often, and I really appreciate all the support from every single one of you. If there wasn't all of you attending the lives, I would have absolutely nobody to talk to, and then I would have no reason to do this because I would just be talking to an echo chamber. But so much support that we have seen in the live today. Again, many big plans for the future. So thank you to everybody who did attend today. Norris, thank you for being here. Ollie, thank you for being here. Yoy, thank you for being here. Let's see. Two Wheels Pursuit, thank you for being here. WWE X NBA News, thank you. George, you were in here earlier. Thank you so much. Eric, you are the first official moderator of the channel, so getting the first official wrench. If you are a fan of Green Money Momentum and you continue to to attend these lives. You could also earn yourself a wrench just like Mr. Eric Poley did here. We also had Stephanie Diaz, another big subscriber of the channel. We had Meeks here. We had Poe. We had David. Thank you for being here, David. We had Gregory Mobley, who left initially because he heard my phone go off. I guess he returned later on. And to everybody else who was here, the Kid Wit, hey, you have been one of my longest subscribers. You were with me on this channel back in 2024. So great to see you once again. Plif, thank you for being here, and so on and so on. Ask Sage, thank you for attending the live stream today. Everybody, thank you so much. Hey, George, you are still here. Thank you, brother. With that, we are wrapping up. We officially made it to 2 hours today. Let me see real quick before I totally wrap up. I'm just going to look here on my side of the screen. What is the longest live I have ever done? Because we are competing with the longest live. Like I say, we've been getting to 1 hour 30 up to 2 hours. So the longest live we have had is 2 hours and 7 minutes. Today we reached 2 hours and 1 minute. But Ollie, thank you so much. Ollie, George, everybody else. It was a great time. Everybody have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your day. And let's hope for some bullish momentum in the Big Bear again in the future. In terms of the price action, things were pretty decent today. Right now, as I finish the stream, Big Bear sitting at $3.93. We will just show it one last time just to get a final recap of how the price action looked for today. So we did just sit in this sideways consolidation trend, a lot of resistance and support right around the levels of $3.50, $4.50. So I do believe if we could break past 450, this is when we could start to see some real momentum surge with the Big Bear. Thank you guys so much. I will see you all in tomorrow's daily talk of stock. Everybody have a great evening.